Hi, family. But today I would like to talk about how when the Lord leads you to something and you follow His lead, you can't go wrong. Absolutely not. You can't go wrong. And I say that because me and my wife, we started together. When we started together, we automatically started acting as one without even getting married. We started acting as one, and we got married immediately. you know. And when we got married, and then we both decided to come to Pennsylvania, to take care of my son and do what parents do, and at the same time look for a better life for ourselves and for our daughter. That we made decisions, and we totally depended on the Lord. But like I said, He will not let you down. So I'll start by saying that me and my wife, when it was time for us to come and move to Pennsylvania, my wife had a great job, very good paying job. I had a great job. I was an HIV pre and post counselor, and I was always also an advocate. And you know, the thing is that I learned how to love things. I loved it, that job. I love it. I still love it. I still love to help people. I like to be an advocate and all that. But then we made decisions to leave. So when me and my wife decided to leave, right before we left, I had put a sign on my door. My boss always used to tell me that I was real good at what I did and all that. So one day I just decided out the blue sky to put a sign on the door and say, regardless what I do in life, I always want to be the best. And if I get a job cleaning toilets, I would like to be the best. Never thinking none of it, you know. And right after that, I was on parole, which was the greatest move that we was waiting for. And they gave me like something like 8 years back, and they let me come. They let me off of parole in 2003, where I should have been on parole, if I'm not mistaken, to 2011. But wow. So in all this, what happened was that when they let me go, I went and resigned from my job, and so did my wife. And of course, as you know, before we resigned, we bought a house out here in Pennsylvania, you see. So once we bought the house, we resigned without even coming to Pennsylvania and looking for a job or anything. We used to come all the time, but it was just taking care of the house and getting it together. I know people thought we was crazy. How is it that you bought a house, how are you going without a job or nothing to know? But we was calm about the whole thing. When you just have that feeling, and we said, God don't give you nothing to take it away. Now, my wife had came up in the beginning herself when she resigned to start getting it together, because I put in a 2-week notice, and they told me for me to get what was coming to me, I had to give a 1-month notice. So I did it, and I was staying in my father's house and coming up on Fridays and leaving on Monday morning. The thing is that my wife had got a little job just to maintain, to keep busy, and we was working it. We was paying our mortgage and thing. But like I said, they let me go sooner, way sooner than I thought they were gonna let us go. And so we came over here, and my wife got a great job, which she's have at this moment. Still been in the same place. My wife works for Prudential, and it's funny. I came here and I put an application in, and when I put the application in, they said they needed people, and they never called me. A couple of days after that, my wife came out and said, honey, they put in the newspaper that they need a decon. And I said, wow. So before when I went, I didn't take no references or nothing like that. So I used to work for this company in a different unit, different things altogether. So I took out cards of some big executives in the thing, and I showed my card and said, I put in an application here, and I said I was open, and now I see a newspaper ad that has a position open, and y'all never called me. And I said, I worked for this company. I just left from New York. And they hired me immediately. When they hired me, decon is a job. It's a high class for janitor. The only thing that when you call it a decon is because it's short for decontamination. And they started me. They started me real quick. They gave me a third shift. I've never worked a third shift in my life. The only time I worked third shift was when I was out in the street selling drugs. Let them just be keeping it real with y'all. And I said, okay, I'll take it. I mean, when you really need a job and you really want to work, you get to it. So I got to it. The thing is that I started working in the decon section and decontaminating. And they used to have people that used to clean the bathrooms, and they quit. When I used to go to the bathrooms, they were filthy. Victor being Victor, and always said I want to be the best at what I do. And I figured cleaning walls or cleaning the bathroom and still cleaning, I still got to deal with filth. And I started cleaning the bathrooms. Not realizing that the general manager at the time said, who's doing all this work that we don't even have nobody that does it? And one of the managers spoke up for me and said it was Victor. He spoke to the union. He said, I need them in the morning. I need him in the morning. One way or another, I need him in the morning. The reality is I got the job in the morning. And I came through. Just to remember that I put that sign upon that wall, not knowing where it was going to lead me to say if I ever get a job, I want to be the best at what I do. Even if I have to clean toilets, I want to be the best toilet cleaner. Everybody there said I was the best cleaning bathroom and offices that ever went through that company. I lasted there like 13 years, but then I caught the cancer. The thing is, family, that when you have a job, you work as if you're working for God, not for that boss. And be the best at what you do. You see, I learned that afterwards. In the beginning of my coming up in church and learning about God, I never thought about that. But you know how many times I went through trials and tribulations in my job, But I used to give it to God. And I was always controlled. Did I get angry at the job a couple of times? Thing never got rolled up until the end. That's another story. And that was beaten, But the reality is, I was churching while I was in there. Because I said, of everything I went through in life, jail, had money, didn't have money, And the reality of it, when I worked there, it was rough. But it didn't bother me because I was following the Lord. Then to learn that in the Bible it says when you have a job, work as you working for Jesus and not for the boss. That makes it so much easier to do your job. You see, because when you're working for God, there's nothing could go wrong. And it's funny because I'm not perfect. Sometimes I used to say in low breath, when I had a manager that we bumped heads, I used to say, my boss, Lord is. And a lot of times I did come and get on my knees and say, God, please help me through this. But in me catching the cancer and everything, and I felt it was time for me to leave and going through changes, and me and my wife sat down, and we came to a decision that I had to leave on early retirement. But you see, that's something else I learned in the Bible and learned from the Lord, is that everything is seasonal. A lot of times you go to a place that you're comfortable in it, and you're actually there to learn and to better yourself. I felt that when I went to that job, I didn't have patience. I used to blow off the handles. I learned all that. So when it was time for me to early retire me behind my sickness, God had me, because God took care of the sickness and taught me how to put up with anything as long as I put Him first. Family, you could do everything through God. A lot of us go through changes that don't know the Bible. But there's not too much the Bible don't speak about to lead you in the right path and deal with your situations. God bless us all. We all got different stories, right? But in the end, as long as we follow Jesus, we'll wind up in the same place in heaven. Listen to me. Real Talk with Victor. God bless you guys. Look up my website. It's up and running. My website is really running up and thing. You see all the videos there. If you don't want to deal with the media and you want to just go into the website, realtalkwithvictor.com. God bless you guys. I'll speak to you tomorrow. God bless you.